Rajesh, and today we'll be discussing about Azure Cognitive Search. So I'll give you a brief introduction about the Azure Cognitive Search. I know I'm not an expert on using this technology or this service, but I got a chance to work on this in my previous implementation or project. So got a good glimpse of what the Azure Cognitive Search can do. And I was really surprised and happy to see that everything has been bundled up by Microsoft in terms of writing the code. You just have to use the service. And when it comes to the search engines, there is a lot of hassle involved in it, not only in the writing the software, but also with the infrastructure involved in that. So that is where the things have become little easier, not little easier, much easier as far as implementation is concerned. So we'll look into that and we'll do a little practical of this as well. So first of all, let's see what Azure Cognitive Search is. And for that, let me share my screen. So Azure Cognitive Search in simple terms or simple words is search as a service cloud solution. And as I said, this is a cloud service which has been provided by Microsoft, which will do the job for you if you want to search uh, the structured data, unstructured data, or AI enrichment. So it also gives us the capability of AI enrichment. And when we compare it with some of the other search engines that Microsoft has, this kind of search service is basically used where this kind of sorry about that. This kind of service is mainly used where uh, the data should be private. So there are certain search engines where the data is global or public, which basically means that we are searching over the internet. But in this case, you can keep your data private and you can search on that. So that is one thing. And as we discussed, that this can be useful for structure. For querying the structured data, that is relational data inside the database. It can be used for querying the unstructured data, as well as we can achieve the capability of AI enrichment. For example, to search on top of a video or audio, you can do that. So it's kind very robust in terms of that. So what we will try to do today is we'll try to provision the service and we will try to create the index. And so this is my second or third iteration of using the service. So all the things will be quite new to me and we'll try to understand it together. And the idea is that we will be able to perform a search on the structured data, which means that we will be using the SQL server as our store in order to do the search. So let's dive into that. For that, let me open the portal. So what we'll do is we'll open portal.azure.com and make sure that you log in with your personal credentials. So we will log in with our personal credentials or my personal credentials. And after doing that, we will try to provision a cognitive service. So let's try to add a cognitive service here. And so what we want to do is we want to provision the Azure Cognitive Search, not cognitive services. That I think is still there. We might use it for another scenarios, and that would require a session in itself. But let's try to search for Azure Cognitive Search, and something should come up, or maybe cognitive search. Let's see, or maybe Azure Cognitive. Let's do that. Is it Azure Cognitive Service? Or I think I might be getting confused. Cognitive Services. Let's go into that. But this should be a search, so I'm sure it should be a search. Yes. So actually, I had provisioned the Azure Cognitive Search in the past as well. So that's why you see this name. And let's see the type here. So again, I said that this is my second or third iteration, so it would be good that we go through this together. So it's a search service. So let's go to the search service. So we have one already provisioned, and so it's not cognitive services. It's a so we had cognitive services, but it's a search service. So just be aware of that. Now click on add. This is some usual stuff that we have to do. Let's select the corresponding resource groups. So I think URL will be kind of a name. So let's give it a name of Lokesh 2. I think it doesn't like caps letters. So Lokesh 2020. It's 6th of November. So let's say 2020 is 11/6. And so we will want to use the free service because we don't want to pay for this as of now. So let's select the free plan and then click on create review and create. So we got one validation error. Let's see what is that. What did we got? I think it should be successful. Let's see. Okay, we already are using it, so that's my bad. So let's remove the existing one. And where can we remove this? So maybe just open this and try to delete it. So let's try to delete this one. And we will type in the name Lokesh search and try to delete this. Let's see what happens. Okay, so that has been deleted now. Let's try to create a new one. And this time we will give Lokesh search 2. Let's go with a different name. Again, we want the free service tier. So we select that, click on review plus create. So it lets you create a single instance. So I think it will do the job if you want to just play around with the service. And remember, guys, the goal is that we want to search the relational database. So we have a relational database and we have a table inside it, and we will want to search, apply a cognitive search on top of it. So meanwhile, so I think deployment was successful. So now we are under the Azure Cognitive Search instance, which goes by the name of Lokesh Search 2. Now, if you go back here, the processes that are involved is that we have to create the index, do the search, and we have to specify a kind of the storage, which storage do we want to query upon. So let's do that. And I think we have to click on, or maybe we have to click on import data. So first of all, you have to import the data inside the search, this service or the solution. Only then after that, you will be able to query on top of it. So it's similar to like we have tables in case of SQL. So we create indexes on top of table, and it's become easier for the SQL engine to find the data. Although we are not adhering, or we are not saying that the technology that is used over here is exactly similar to that. We're just speaking in loose terms. So the concept is almost the same. So let's try to import the data first. And again, our goal is that we want to query on top of the Azure SQL database. So data source will be existing data source, or let's say Azure SQL database. So we are querying the structured data, but in case if you're querying the unstructured data, you can go for the Azure blob storage as well. So data source name and connection string. So I think we can give it an arbitrary name, or let's see whether that is successful or not. So our SQL database. So we'll give this a name to this. And then, so what I wanted to do now is we wanted to get the connection string for this database. Okay, so show database connection string, and we will copy this, place it here. User ID, it has automatically picked up. Password, we will provide it. And let's try to test the connection. And yes, so the connection was validated. So what we have inside the database is so that we are clear on what we want to search on. So we have number of tables here. And since the IPL tournament is going on, so we have a table called IPL teams. Just because I am a fan of IPL. If you are a fan of IPL as well, you will like this. Everybody likes the mention of IPL if they are a fan of that. By the way, if you have any particular favorite team, do comment in the comment box below. So we have this table called IPL teams. We will use that. Come in here. We can either select from the drop down or type it. So we are looking for IPL teams. So next is, in this case, we are just performing a simple search, but there's something called cognitive skills where the AI capabilities come into picture, especially when your source is having a kind of video files or text files, but we don't want to do that. So we will skip this step. Sorry, we will skip this step. We'll go to the customized target index now. And so it's asking us to give us the key team ID. So there is a concept of keys here as well. I'm not totally sure how that works. And here comes the important part or interesting part. So we have different properties for each of the column name here, which means that which of the columns we want to be performed a search on. So searchable means that. So if we say we want to a search on team name, we can do that. And what information do we want to retrieve? So we want the team ID, obviously, and we want the team name as well. And there are some other properties as well, filterable, sortable, which are self-explanatory. And we have facet table. This requires a deeper dive into it. I actually was following an article on this, but I didn't really understand that. But let's leave it for now. I think this refers to the fact that when you are performing a search on particular attributes and you want user to use that attributes, you can declare those facet table if it makes sense. Now let's create an indexer and let's give this indexer a name. So indexer is also some new concept that we have here. What basically I've understood is that indexer will be used to populate your indexes or construct your indexes. Uh, the exact definition I'm not aware. So this is again, I'm learning with you. So if you know more than me, just feel free to comment. So I think we have created everything and it will take some time to get the data populated. So what we have done is we have imported the data and we have created an indexer. So you can see we have created an indexer and let's go inside the indexer and see what it is. Although there is a definition given out of the box by Microsoft, but I really didn't understand what indexers are. So it says that indexers are useful in order to build indexes. So let's open that. So it shows execution history. Not sure what it means by this. We have 8 rows. So somehow it is saying us that the indexer has 8 documents. So it's treating one row as one document. I think this is because these kind of searches will mostly be performed on the unstructured data, which where we have documents terminologies. Now let's go to the indexes. Indexes has not been created. Let's try to refresh. So I would have expected the document count to be 8 here as well. So index has been created now. And indexes is where we will perform the search. And you can see here, so this is how it looks. And then we have usage. So the data sources. So right now we can support 3 data sources and we have used one because we are using the free tier pricing. And then you have indexes. We can create 3 indexes at tops and we have used one only. Similarly with the indexers. So let's go to the indexes now and perform a search. So what we want to do is we want to let's search for a team called Mumbai Indians, and we will simply type it in here and see if the search comes up. Cool. So search comes up. So it has the team ID of 1. Let's see here. Team ID is 1, and then team name is Mumbai Indians. So the search definitely comes up. So this is how it works. So the search will come up in terms of JSON file. Now you have to use the APIs if you want to consume this data in a front-end application in a user-friendly way. But this was a small demo of how the Azure Cognitive Search works when we are querying on top of structured data, relational data. And then you can see data sources, some other tabs, skill sets. These will be useful when you are dealing with AI capabilities. So we'll use that maybe in the next session. And monitoring how many searches have been performed in the past 1 hour. So there are a lot of features here, but I hope this gives you a little glimpse of what Azure Cognitive Search is. It helps us search any kind of data and the data remains private. So we will, in the next session, we will try to explore the AI capabilities. We will try to search on top of a text or an image file, and let's see how the search results look like. So I hope this makes sense. I mean, I am not an expert on this by any stretch of imagination, but I guess this gives you a little glimpse of what Azure Cognitive Search is. So we'll meet in the next video, guys. Till then, take good care of yourself and bye, guys.